With Israel and Iran tension flaring up and a war that seems very imminent between the two sides, there is a lot which is at stake for India. There is a huge diaspora that lives in that region. There is a lot of trade, especially of energy and crude, which comes from that region. And in fact, entire world supply chain can be impacted if this war or tension continues to escalate. We have already seen the Red Sea escalation through the Houthis from Yemen, which the Western world has always claimed that are backed by Iran and who happens to be the proxy, which work on the behest of Iranian regime, who have in fact brought a blockade for the Western naval ships passing through the Red Sea zone. Now, the latest is that one of the ship that had Portuguese flag on it and that was apparently owned by one of Israel's richest person, MCS Ares, has also been detained by Iranian forces. We all saw footages of Iranian forces dropping down from a helicopter onto that ship and then taking control of it and leading it to Iranian territorial waters. Since then, these people are under the protection of Iranian government. Yesterday, when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was having a conversation with Iranian Foreign Minister Amir Abdulhan, he also had a conversation regarding the well-being and release of these 17 Indians who are on board MSC Aries. To that, Iranian Foreign Minister assured him that they will be allowed soon to have a meeting with India's representative in Iran. So that is a huge relief because that will kind of pave the way for their well-being and also their early release from the Iranian captivity right now. But also, why Strait of Hormuz is very important from where that ship was detained. That ship, which was on way to India's Nhava Sheva in Mumbai from UAE, was detained by Iran, and that entire strait accounts for almost 20% of world's oil trade. And if such incidences from the Iranian side continues to happen in that strait, that would mean that lot of carrier or vessel cargo carriers will try to avoid that route and take a longer route that will not only add cost to the commodity which are being brought to other parts of the world, but also add a lot of delayed time in reaching these commodity to their destination. We have already faced the similar circumstances in Red Sea, and on the top of it, now the Strait of Hormuz is also at attention. Also, there is a huge diaspora which lives in the area of Gulf, in Iran and Israel. About 10,000 Indians live in Iran in terms of profession or students or in various activities, business activities which who are involved there. To talk about Israel, about 18,000, 18 to 20,000 is a broad figure that Indians, number of Indians are living there. Most of them are caregivers or professionals working in Israel. We have recently seen about 60 Indian workers also being taken to Israel to work in their field and other construction activities. So clearly, there is a concern of Indian government as to how these Indians will be secure and they'll be kept safe. And that is one of the reasons why India has been raising the issue with both Israeli side and Iranian side. They have been continuously engaged with the two sides. In fact, India happens to be one of the few countries in the world which has a very good diplomatic ties with Iran, Israel and Palestine as well. In fact, Prime Minister Modi was the first Indian Prime Minister who happened to visit Israel and during his first tenure itself. And then he also visited Jordan and Palestine in the same visit. So that was a linked visit, and that kind of explain the confidence and the diplomacy that India has always tried to maintain, that a balance of diplomacy between Iran and Israel. And with the latest 7th of October attack that happened on Israel, India had condemned the terrorist act of Hamas, though Hamas is not listed as a terrorist organization in India's agency's book. But the activity of Hamas on 7th October was condemned by India. Prime Minister himself condemned it, and India has said that terrorism in all its form and manifestation is something that should be criticized. At the same time, India has been sending aid and assistance and humanitarian supplies to the people of Palestine who have been very badly dealing with the onslaught of Israeli forces in the wake of Hamas attack. And since then, Israel has launched a war against Hamas, which has practically moved the entire population of Palestine from one corner of the country to another corner of the country. With the latest escalation also, India has been talking to not only Iran and Israel, but also to other Western nation foreign minister and leadership also, where it has tried to bring down the temperature and negotiate diplomacy and how diplomacy and dialogue can be the way forward that can bring down the temperature, and that can not only ensure that terrorist organization or terrorist act like what happened on 7th October would be avoided in future, but at the same time the Palestinians will have their right, and there is a two-nation theory that India has always propounded and propagated and supported. That could be the ultimate panacea for this entire chaos, and that will provide a long-lasting peace. That has been India's stand on the entire conflict and the tension that has been ongoing.